My name is Ashanti, and welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. Well, folks, you may have saw in the title here, or maybe you're just got this on autoplay, and so you don't know what's going on. But we are getting ready to take a scary break. When I say scary, it's more scary for me than the team. We need to do it. There's some exciting things happening. I've been kind of mentioning over the last couple of weeks that we are really getting ready to focus on what is my purpose in life, and is helping to transform our schools, our school systems, how people are seeing school, not only how parents are seeing it, how teachers are seeing it, how students are seeing it, how school is being received by the world. And so there's a lot happening in this Taking Off the Mask podcast. The podcast will continue. We will still be taking off the mask, but we're going to be taking off the mask in a very specific way with educators, teachers, counselors, thought leaders, professors, people working in education on all areas to help make school better for all kids. Now, listen, if you know any of my story, you know that I've been both a good student and I've been the best of the bad students. Elementary school was by far the worst, at least my behavior. 20 plus suspensions for fighting, just a wild little one. But all that anger inside that was bottling up, all that anger that I wasn't dealing with was showing up on the playground. And when I meet students who are walking around with their hands and their fists balled up and they're hyperventilating, oh, I see them so well. I don't know what they're going through, but I see them. And I just say, hey, just slow down. Just take a breath. Yeah, unclench your fist. Unclench your fist. Like, unclench your jaw. Like, okay, like, how do you help them do it if you've never experienced it? If you've never been enraged, it's hard for an educator to help a kid navigate rage. Most of our teachers are women. Doesn't mean they can't teach young men. I had the teacher who changed my life, Miss BP, in middle school, and the teacher who transformed my math education, Miss Hiltz, in high school, were amazing women. But they didn't know how to handle me when I got to the rage point. I mean, that's my first time getting sent to the office, accused of getting kicked out of school, was because this teacher said I hit her. And I'm like, what? I didn't hit you. She was like, I was trying to break up the fight and you hit me. I'm like, well, don't blame me for your inability to see that this 300-pound middle schooler was not paying attention to you while he was going after his combatant. And then you somehow got yourself hit, and now you accusing me of hitting you. I don't even like you. I don't care about you. I don't even like your class. I just come here because I'm forced to come here. And so you imagine, like, how many young people are navigating, getting in trouble because of all the behaviors. But guess what? I wasn't really looking for a fight. I was protecting my what word should I say? I was protecting my image. I was not going to let somebody call me and pick on me and hit me and do these things. And then all of a sudden it's happening in class. Well, there were some rules in my community about how to tolerate that. How do you take that? You can't let it go for too long, because then other people will think they can do it. And then you end up with a lot of drama. And if this was, post me being bullied, I was like, never again, never again. The journey that we're experiencing in schools, and if you're paying attention, you will see that we are experiencing something different this year than even before. And I really want us to not ignore it. I want schools not to ignore it. We have schools that are absolutely going to wait for a crisis before they do anything. They're going to wait for a crisis before they recognize that if we don't talk to young people proactively, we're going to be talking to them reactively. If we don't give young people a way to navigate their emotions in a healthy way, we're going to be picking up the pieces when they've navigated and dealt with them in unhealthy ways. And so from this educator who has now gone into this social entrepreneurial work as a nonprofit leader, as an educator who was both a teacher who was power hungry and dominant in the classroom, to a teacher who was figuring, how do I learn with you? How do I put down the need to have all of the power in the room and realize that there's some journey of us working together? That requires some wisdom. And I've always heard that wisdom comes through some battles. Wisdom comes after you've experienced something. Wisdom comes from learning a lesson. Last week we did a workshop in Esparto, California. We may even have the clip here to show you, but in Esparto, California, as we did the mask with these students, now that's a rural town. Now, rural town means it's kind of out. It's a farming town, I'm guessing. I mean, we passed through a lot of farmland as we got there. I don't know what their major industry is, but there's definitely a lot of farms out there. And as I began to do the work of the mask and the students were reading off the mask on stage, one student in particular, as we're starting on the words on the back, he read, "I hate myself."
Okay, here we go. Said, hate myself.
Can't laugh, bro.
Take a deep breath, everybody. Now, his ability to hold that as a serious thing wasn't that very strong in the moment. So he started laughing and chuckling. And there were some other people chuckling next to him. Some of his friends, they started chuckling. And I'm like, oh, man, I can't let that go. Now, in the moment, as a workshop leader, my job is to keep the momentum going and also make sure that the lessons are learned. But when you hear something painful and you laugh at it, it has an opportunity to hurt others. And so I just said to the audience, let me have your attention. I said, and I walked over to the young man. I said, hey, I need you to not laugh. That was not funny. And then I turned around to the audience and I said, hey, folks, I just want to apologize on behalf of my volunteers here. I didn't prepare them that sometimes they're going to see words that are going to make them feel uncomfortable. But that their responsibility in that moment is to hold space for whoever's card that is and to respect it. Do you know sometimes we laugh at things that are not funny? And as I said that to the audience, I just looked at them all. I said, listen, I don't know whose card that was, but if you've ever felt like that, if you've ever felt like you didn't like yourself, that you hated yourself, I want you to know that me too, And in that moment of humanity, like I could be mad at this student. I could be upset with him for being disrespectful to his peers and not being kind. But I'm also knowing that sometimes the deep pain of our own soul will cause us to doing things that we don't know what's going to happen on the outside. Parker Palmer said, violence is what happens when we don't know what to do with our suffering. If I'm suffering inside and I'm going to be violent, I can be violent physically. I can be also violent with words. I can be violent in thoughts. And so when I said that to the audience, I just said, hold it, everyone take a deep breath. And then we continue reading the words on the back. If you've ever been to one of my workshops, you know that after that part, we invite anybody to share what they're feeling, what that came up for them. And a young lady came up to the audience, to the stage, and she shared what she felt. And another student shared from down below, like right here, I handed the mic. And one young man who I was like, anyone else? I feel like somebody else wants to share. A young man got up, and as he got up, you could hear the crowd was like, oh, because they know him, and maybe he's a very popular kid or something. But he's known by a lot of students because they kind of acknowledged that he was getting up, and he got up to the mic, and I handed him the mic, and he said,
I want to say it's okay for all you guys that laughed when Bobby read his card because I wrote that on my card, and I just want to say that. I know people go through a lot, but sometimes you just gotta step up and you gotta let people know that it's okay, you have to be okay. And if you're ever going through something, just talk to someone. Always talk to someone. And you can fight through it.
Yeah, some of you are, you responded to that, the card that said, I hate myself. He said, that wasn't my card, but I wrote that too. And I promise you could hear a pin drop in that room. And he said, I don't remember his exact words, but the sentiment. I mean, I was there, I got on one of my knees and I just put my hand over my heart and I was just like holding space for this young brother who was being really honest and vulnerable with his class, with his peers. to let them know that sometimes we don't know what people are going through, and that we may put people on the pedestal that they should be experts and excellent and never have problems, but we are fooling ourselves to believe that. And that day, another memory, another core memory that's locked into my memory bank of what happens when young people get a chance to be seen and heard. And we know that in a small town like Esparto, population 1,800, a little bit more, a little bit less. That's around the number I remember seeing on the placard as you drive into town. That if students are feeling that there, then we can know and be clear that students are feeling that all over. So I'm asking you, as we get ready to move into these conversations with educators around the world, educators around the country, educators in our counties, in our districts, and wherever they're going to come from, to have these conversations, I'm inviting you to please be a part of the journey with us. If you care about education, if you care about young men and men, I invite you to let somebody know about it, that we will be starting back up November the 5th. And that is 2 weeks before the Young Men's Conference, actually a week and a half before the Young Men's Conference. My name is Ashanti, and welcome to the Young Men's Conference. November 16th, Oakland, California Ballroom. We're inviting you to be a part of it. It's our first conference that we're doing by ourselves, but we're also partnering with Mentor California, the Mr. Fab, and other folks in the community who are coming together to support young men around becoming their best selves, the power of vulnerability. How do we help young men unmask whatever's in the way of getting them to where they dream of being? We're inviting you. If you have a son, a student, colleague, friend, invite young men in your life. If you're interested in volunteering, we need men who are going to be mentors at the tables with the young men. And we need general community to be a part of volunteering to make sure the day runs smoothly. So we're looking for you, 200 young men, Oakland, California. There are young men from all over the Bay Area, and registration is open now. So stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, be well, and ever forward.
Join the Young Men's Conference on Saturday, November 16th.
The Young Men's Conference is happening November 16th, Saturday, at the California Ballroom in Oakland, California. We're very excited for what is going to come for these young men. We're in the planning stages right now. One of our alumni who is coming back to be a part of it is helping to plan it, and we are very excited. Not only excited about what's going to happen, but excited what happens after. So there's lots of things that are happening and transforming in the work. Our team is growing. There's a lot of momentum happening, and we are so close to hitting 100,000 people served in the Million Mask movement. It's sometimes hard to believe that it's coming so soon, that the 100,000 people. Now, we know that many people have made masks out there, probably way more than 100,000 people. But the ones that we actually have in our office, the ones that we've collected, those are the ones that we have in our hands right now. And we're asking you to be a part of it. This next chapter, this next step. And we look forward to seeing you real soon. We look forward to you being a part of what happens in November. We'll be putting out a trailer coming up pretty soon. You'll be seeing some stuff on social media. We're not going away. We're going to be in work. We're going to be in the lab. We're going to be in the lab working. How people say that? We're going to be in the lab working. We're working. So you can follow our journey and stay tuned with what we're doing. We're going to be working behind the scenes. So you can do that on any of the social media platforms that we're on. YouTube, we'll be sharing some clips there, as well as on Instagram and Facebook and some of the other platforms. So stay tuned and stay in touch, and tell an educator about it. If you know a teacher that you think is needing some support right now, we're in that really interesting phase of school where we are. Before Thanksgiving break, there's not a lot of breaks right now. There's like school every single day. So we invite you to be a part of helping us help transform schools. So if you know an educator that we should be talking to, that we should be listening to, please make sure you let them know, or you let us know who they are so we can reach out to them. But you can let them know for us that they were going to reach out to them. Maybe it makes the introduction a little bit more warm. We want you to email us at, I'm going to look for the email address here. You can email us at totmpod100, totmpod100 at gmail.com, and let us know who you think we should be talking to in this next season. And we're very excited. We're going to be talking to some young people too. We're going to be talking to some students too, because they better be a part of the conversation of how we're going to transform schools. So we look forward to these conversations. We look forward to all that we're going to learn, all that I'm going to learn, all that we're going to do to make sure that our schools are reachable, accessible, and healthy for all students. Take care, be well. And any other episodes that in the past, please go back and listen to them again over these next couple of weeks. Let us know if there's one that in particular that you think we should replay at some point in the future. But they're not going away. They'll still be here. You can still get access to them. But we do hope that these next conversations you will hear and see how our work is going to make a big difference in education around the world. Also, if you have not yet made a mask, this would be the time to do it. Get in on before we hit 100,000. Celebrate with us that you are a part of the movement. And if you make your mask, you can share it with somebody else in your community and have them make a mask. And you can be a part of not only a person who is a part of the movement, but a person who is helping us get the movement out into the world. So we look forward to that. And we'll see you real soon. If we reach it before November 5th, you will see us celebrating. So keep an eye out for what's happening. We have a feeling we're getting really close. And so we'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye, everybody. The Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie and graphics by Kelly Wong. Guests are managed by Dan Paloma, and the podcast is edited by Samuel Matingo. We'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast. And for every guest that has been a part of the show, you are now a part of the Taking Off the Mask family. The Taking Off the Mask podcast is brought to you by the Ever Forward Club. And if you like what you've heard today, please subscribe, write a 5-star review, and share this with someone. We look forward to having more conversations that matter. And please remember, there's more to you than anybody can see by just looking at you.